for your girl.
That's right, it's a podcast.
It's pop for your girl.
We drop it loud.
Pop for your girl. It's pop for your girl. Hey, it's your girl Nwugochi, and welcome to Pod for Your Girl. Hey sis, what's up? Welcome back. And if this is your first time joining me with Pod for Your Girl, guess what? You are in for a phenomenal time. So before I get started, I just want to take this moment to tell you how much I appreciate you listening to this podcast. Pod for Your Girl was created by your girl, for your girl. So I just want you guys to just really and truly be inspired to share this podcast, share the message that I talk about today, share my experiences, and even share your experiences. Come through on the comments, okay? Come through on Instagram, come through on Facebook, come through on SoundCloud, and just leave your thoughts and your opinions and everything that you would like to hear me talk about, okay? Because nothing is off limits. So this podcast is for your girl. And who is your girl? Your girl is not just me, okay? Your girl is you, okay? So anything that you have on your mind to talk about, anything that you are hoping for that I would say or hoping that I would touch on, I want you guys to drop it in the comments, okay? Thank you for listening. Thank you for, just every time somebody comes on and listens, I do not take it lightly, you guys. It is such an encouragement, okay? Even when you guys don't say anything, just the fact that I know you guys are listening, just the fact that I know you guys are there, it is so encouraging, y'all. So I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna keep going. Because I'm gonna get emotional. And I don't want to get emotional, okay? Because we girls, we get emotional, and it's okay. All right. But for real, welcome to Pod for Your Girl. Today's episode is called Lemons versus Lemonade, okay? So that's a big thing right there. Lemons versus lemonade. And it's so many different ways that I can go with this, but I'm really talking about a hard-working woman, a woman that knows how to take that lemon and turn it into lemonade, or even lemon water sometimes, because lemonade ain't always good for you, y'all. You gotta, sometimes cut the sugar out and just turn it into lemon water. But sometimes you gotta go out there. I know in today's generation, we don't pick the lemons off the trees, but we do go to the grocery store, okay? For those of y'all that go to Whole Foods, Kroger's, even Publix, y'all know Publix got the best fruit out there, okay? That's the in-between. That's the in-between for those of y'all that don't, y'all ain't arrived to where you're shopping at Whole Foods yet, but you don't want the Kroger's fruit, so you go to Publix, okay? That's where you're gonna get the best for your money. And I'm just saying, because I ain't a Whole Foods shopper. Every now and then I might go and get like some organic stuff from Whole Foods, but when the tab come up, like I'm like, Lord, like, whew, Jesus. So go on to Publix, get your lemonade. That's step one right there. So that's a little bit of work. You did the first step. And then you got to come home. You got to cut the lemons. All right. You got to cut them up. And then you got to get your glass of water, or you got to get your water for your lemonade. You got to get your sugar, and then you got to stir it up, and you got to make your lemonade, like legit make it. And so, that's if you want that good stuff, that stuff that, tastes good. It's nothing like homemade lemonade. Okay. Like you could buy the lemonade, the Minute Maid from the store, but y'all know it don't taste the same. It don't taste the same. When you make it from scratch, that be the real deal. And so what I'm talking about, you guys, is the hardworking women out there that, are actually turning their lemons, their sour days, turning, their discouragement, turning their tribulations and their trials, like you're taking it and you're turning it into your lemon water, you're turning it into your lemonade. And if you've listened to the podcast, guys, you know that I have different segments. And so today's Pat Your Weave segment, I'm talking about the stereotype of a hardworking woman. A hardworking woman we're breaking the stereotype of a hardworking woman being viewed being viewed as, somebody that doesn't have time for her family, doesn't have time to be in a relationship, doesn't have time for the world, doesn't have time for her community, doesn't have time for her church. No, like you can still be about your business and about your grind and about your coins, okay? And go out there and get it, but still be about everything that I just said. What? For real? You can? What? They done lied to me? Yes, sis. They done lied to you, telling you that you can't work a 9 to 5 and be an entrepreneur. They done lied to you, telling you that you can't go out and have a social life because of your grind. No, you can do that. But what it's going to take some balance. So what I want to talk about today with your Patch Your Weave segment, I'm going to give you a couple of steps that I use because y'all know I do a lot. I do a lot of stuff. And I'm not going to lie, sometimes I be exhausted. Like this past weekend, I came off of a 2-day trip. The trip was delayed. Like every single flight was delayed. If y'all don't know me, I'm a flight attendant. Okay. So I don't want y'all to think like this was a vacation trip. No, this was a working trip. So I was working, guys. And, from the time I left Atlanta, I think my report time to be, at the gate was like 11 a.m. We didn't leave Atlanta till probably like 12:30. And it just continued to be delayed like the whole time. It was a 2-day trip and I'm working about, I think out of the 2 days, 6 flights altogether. And it was a nice layover in Dominican Republic, Santo Domingo. And it was really nice. However, when I got back, by the time I got back, I was exhausted. I came back in like around 11:30 p.m. and then 12 a.m. I finally made it back to my house and, come to find out my son was sick. Okay. He had a cold, you guys. And it wasn't like that type of cold where you sleep good and you just sleep through the whole night. No, it wasn't that type of cold. It was the type of cold where he's up all night and he's like, he needs his mom. He needs his dad. He didn't want to go to sleep. He was just coughing. The type of cold where you hear them breathing like they trying to breathe through their nose, but they can't breathe through their nose because it's so stuffed up and they got to breathe through their mouth. Yeah, y'all. It was like that type of cold. And so, I'm 12 a.m. I came home, went to sleep. By 1:30, he's up like, Mom, like, Dad, what's up? Like, I'm sick, okay? And so we're up till like 4 a.m. trying to get this child situated. He did not want to go back to sleep. So nonetheless, like the next morning didn't stop. Like, and that's one of the things that we need to really talk about, this time thing. Like, Lord, like sometimes we pray. I don't know about y'all, but I pray to God and I'm like, God, please just let time stop for a second so I can catch up. I just need to catch up. But that's not real life. You got to get it while you can. And so life doesn't stop. The sun is still going to come out the next morning. You still got to get up. You still got commitments. You still got, deadlines you got to meet. Yet nothing is going to stand still for us. However, although we got all of these things going and we got commitments and we got, kids and we got our 9 to 5 and we got our entrepreneur deadlines, we still have to find a balance. And so, yeah, guys, I've been exhausted, but the devil is a lie because right now I'm in the process of taking this go-getter mentality to the next level, taking this go-getter mentality to a level of, what? Although I'm exhausted, how can I find time for me? How can I find time to balance this thing out? How can what is it in my schedule that I could cut out? What is the least thing that, I know that right now, this thing I have to subtract, from my life. And in order for me to catch up on my rest, or in order for me to just stay sane, in order for me to, continue to, be the person that I need to be so I can get all of these things done. And there's nothing wrong with that, you guys. There's nothing wrong with that. And I just want to say to the go-getters, to the finishers out there, to those of y'all who are not willing to, look the other way in the face of adversity, in the face of, the sun rising on your exhaustion, or rising on, the fact that you went to sleep a few hours ago, but you're not willing to give up. And those are the women that I want to talk to you today. I just want to encourage you today, sis. I want to really lift you up in this patch your weave moment, okay? In this patch your weave moment, because the stereotypes out here are real, and, I really don't want you to ever feel like you are afraid of hard work, like you're afraid of, going out there and making things happen. Because if you're not careful, like especially like for me, like there's a ton of excuses I could have used to not get up the next morning and do the things that I needed to do, to not be there for the people that I needed to be there for. However, I was like, no, like I'm going to get up this morning and I'm going to make it happen. Like it's not going to stop. And on top of that, I still had to go to the grocery store and get my baby some oranges, some orange juice, some cough medicine, all that good stuff. So you know what? It just don't stop. It don't stop. But let me go ahead and share these steps with y'all. Okay. And the first one that I really want to share, and it's just the ability to know when to be humble, just to be low, like go back to your low place. And anytime like I'm feeling exhausted, or I'm feeling like, man, it's just too much going on right now, like I got all this stuff going on, I have to go back to that humble place. Okay. That place of, okay, in this moment, I'm just going to sit still and I'm just going to listen to everything that's going on around me. So yes, I got to get up and I got to perform today. I got to get up and I got to make things happen today. But however, maybe you're not going to be the loudest person in the room today. Okay. So, maybe you have to humble yourself and know, okay, yes, I'm going to show up. Or I'm going, be there, or I'm, going to make sure I go to the grocery store, and get this stuff for my son, but ain't no wandering around into the makeup aisle today. Okay. Because I got to get it done. Like I don't have time, and so that's what I'm talking about by knowing when to come down from yourself. Like you don't always have to be the best dressed. You may have to throw on some sweats today, sis. Let's get these sweats. Let's get these sneakers. All right. So, you may have a day where you might not put on no makeup, and, it's okay. And so I just want you to know, like that first step to making sure like you can get all of the things done and, break these stereotypes of, you working a 9 to 5 and you gonna, try to be there for your sister's birthday dinner. Yes, I am going to do that. I'm gonna do that. And then on top of that, I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna record this podcast. And then on top of that, I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna, sew whatever I got to sew for my clothing line. And then on top of that, I'm going to do all of these things. However, when I go to this dinner, I may not have a full face of makeup. Okay. Like I may just have some eyelashes on and some lip gloss, and that's okay. And so that's what I'm talking about. Just, knowing when to come down, to a level of, everything is going to get done, but it may not get done to a level of perfection. And so, yes, you can do it all, sis. You can go out there and finish what you started. However, it may look a little different. Okay. I hope you guys follow me today, because this just blessed me. Okay. And the next thing that I want to say is this step is really important for me, because I had to learn, like, I'm not going to apologize for my hard work. So what I want to tell y'all today is don't apologize for your hard work. Apologize to whoever may feel affected by what you missed or what you're missing out on due to your hard work. Like you may tell yourself like, okay, yeah, I know it's my sister's birthday dinner, but today I can't make it. And don't apologize like, man, I'm so sorry that I'm a hard worker. I'm so sorry that, I have to go to work, Don't apologize for your hard work. Don't apologize for your grind, sis. Don't apologize for all of the things that God has blessed you to be able to pour out to other people. However, when we're doing these things, it may hurt other people. The fact that you're not there to support your friend, or the fact that you may, have to miss out on a football game every now and then, or you may have to miss out on your son's basketball game, or you may have to miss out on your, daughter's bake sale, or whatever the case may be. You apologize to that individual because they may be hurt, or they may be that type of individual that they really understand and they like, sis, I get it. Go get it. Do what you got to do. Okay. But, for those people who are a little bit sensitive, and especially for your kids, make sure that you're always apologizing for not being there, or for, having to do something else. However, know in the back of your mind that we're not apologizing, or we're not beating ourselves up because we're a hard worker. We're not feeling sorry because, we're on our grind and we're out there and we're trying to make things happen. There's nothing wrong with that. You can do it all. You can be superwoman. Matter of fact, you are superwoman. Hey, superwoman, what's up? You superwoman today, okay? I don't care if nobody ain't told you lately. I'm telling you, you superwoman, and it's okay to miss out on certain things, just as long as we're not making it a habit, just as long as we're making an effort to, construct our schedule to where we can be there for the ones that we love. That is what matters the most. Okay, so let's break these stereotypes. Let's do this. Okay, and the next one that I want to share with you guys is know your season and be sure of it. Okay, so this spoke to me right here, guys, because it just kind of goes back into number 1 and number 2. All right. Because when you think about it, you are going to have seasons where, you can't always be the loudest person in the room, or you can't always be, the one pouring into other people, or you can't always be the one that is receiving, and that's okay. And that just means that you're in a different season, and God is teaching you something in this season. And so when we have those seasons of hard work, and it seems like, y'all just don't know, I'm ministering to myself right now. Okay. I'm talking to me. I'm preaching to me, because at the end of the day, seasons change so quickly. They change so quickly. 1 minute it's cold, 1 minute it's hot. And so that's the same thing when it comes to our hardworking women out there, when it comes to, us being on the grind and we on a mission and we got this tunnel vision. Okay. At the beginning of that tunnel, it may seem really, really warm. It may be really, really warm. And then when you get to the end of that tunnel, you are cold. And you may feel lonely. You may feel like you ain't got nobody. You may feel like you ain't got no friends. You don't have nobody to support you. You don't have nobody to encourage you, but at the beginning of the tunnel, when you was in tunnel vision, when you first started that business, or when you first started that podcast, or when you first started, your new job, or whatever the case may be that you're grinding on, sis, everybody was there to support you at first. And then when you started getting through the middle and you started, having a consistency about that thing, you started having your little pace up, that's when, stuff started changing, start getting a little warm, and you start looking around you and people start acting funny. And then, people start distancing themselves, or you start distancing yourself, and you notice like a change in your season. And so, in this Patch Your Weave segment, I need y'all to know, if we're going to break this stereotype of a hardworking woman, of a go-getter, of somebody who is able to seriously be a superwoman and not be ashamed of it, not be ashamed of you being on your grind, you can't care what other people think. Okay, never mind. I take that back. You can care, but don't let it affect you. Don't let it affect your mission. Don't let it affect where you're going and how you see yourself, sis, because at the end of the day, your seasons are always going to change. They always going to change. And you have to be sure. You have to know what season you're in and be sure of that season, because if not, you'll be thrown off and you'll find yourself, trying to get back to that warm place where, you had everybody around you keeping you warm. You had everybody around you cheering you on. However, now, your grind is affected because, you have a social life. However, are you balancing that social life out? Are you balancing it out with, your grind? And so, yes, you can do it all. You can have your social life and, be an entrepreneur and be good at your grind. However, you have to find a great balance. And it's okay. It's okay if you find yourself in a cold season when you're used to being warm or you're used to being hot. It's okay, sis. All right. So I hope this Pat Your Weave segment really helped y'all out, because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. We're here to celebrate each other's wins. We're here to motivate and push each other. And sometimes your girl, I really be feeling, exhausted and stressed out and, just like I'm running on fumes. And so once I've had to do these things. I've had to, find myself in a low place. Like, okay, like I can't do, what I really want to do in this moment. So I have to humble myself and I have to throw on some sweats, sorry, not sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, not sorry, because at the end of the day, I have to do what's best for me. Like I got to keep it moving. I got to keep it grinding. I got to keep it pushing, because at the end of the day, the sun is going to come out whether I want it to or not. Okay, it's going to show up whether I want it to or not. And so we got to make the most out of life. We got to make the most out of our journey. We got to make the most out of being a hard worker. We got to go get these lemons and we got to choose to either make our lemon water or our lemonade. And once we do, we got to make sure that we're taking the correct steps. So, we're breaking this stereotype, because truly, I really do believe that you can do it all. And, sometimes people look at me like I'm crazy. They like, okay, she don't know what she want to be. Do she want to be a podcaster? Do she want to be a designer? Do she want to do hair and makeup? Do she want to be a flight attendant? I want to do it all. Okay. And ain't nothing wrong with that. And it's time for me to do it. And so this is the time. God told me this is the time. This is the season. And so he's giving me strategy to do it. And so I'm doing it. Okay. Yes, I'm a mom. I'm a wife. And as much as I miss my family when I'm gone, I have to, tell myself like, I'm not apologizing for the hard work, because they are going to benefit from this. They're going to benefit from this hard work. They're going to benefit from all of the opportunities and, everything that I'm doing it for them. However, I do apologize if, I'm not there for everything. And, even with my husband, like, he's had things like, I know he has a film festival coming up that he submitted a film to, and it's a good chance that I'm not going to be there for that film festival. However, I will apologize for, not being there if it does hurt him, or I will apologize for, whatever, emotion that he's feeling. However, I won't apologize for the hard work that I'm putting out there, because he knows like I'm doing it for him. He knows that. And so I hope this is encouraging y'all, because I want to hear about it. I want to hear what y'all have to say. Because this is real. We don't have enough conversations about this as women. And, as women, we're emotional. We have our moments. Not every woman may feel like they're emotional, but we have our moments, and it's okay. It's okay to have those moments. And, this is one of them. This is one of those moments where you get up and say, you know what, you right. Like, I don't have to stay in my lane. No. Pat your weave, sis. Don't be ashamed to be everything and more, and be great at it. Go out there. And, I think the shame comes from, I just want to touch on this real quick. The shame comes from, some people, everybody is not gifted with being able to, do all of the things that they want to do. Like sometimes, people do live in fear, or they do live in a safe space, or they just live in a comfortable place. Like there's nothing wrong with saying, okay, I want to be a teacher, and staying in that teaching and becoming the best teacher ever. There's nothing wrong with that. However, there's a difference between saying, okay, I want to be a teacher, and I want to be, I want to start a nonprofit on the side for, students with disabilities, and I want to start my own for-profit. Okay, because you can start a nonprofit, but you need a for-profit as well, where, it's a tutoring business. And, now you're doing all of these things. You're starting a tutoring business. You're starting a nonprofit where you're giving back to your community. And you're also, a teacher, and that's your daytime job. That is a gift, sis. If you're doing all that, if you're doing stuff like that, that is a gift. But however, everybody does not look at that and say, oh, she has her life together. Some people look at that and they say, man, she doing too much, or she need to slow down. She need to sit down, or she need to figure out, she don't got it figured out what she really want to do with her life. And I think the shame comes from feeling that energy from other people. And I'm talking about it because I've been there. Like I've had people ask me like, well, so what is it that you really want to do? And I'm looking at them like, shoot, I'm doing it. Like, this is what I really want to do. Like, I'm doing it. I want to do all of these things, and I want to be great at it. And I'm okay with that. I'm comfortable with that. And, I won't say I'm comfortable, but I'm confident with it. I'm confident in it. I'm confident in the fact that I'm making these moves, and this is what I need to do. Now, okay, I want to touch on something else, and then I'm going to move on to the next segment, okay? Sometimes you can also look at it from this aspect. Somebody who is a teacher, I'm going to use the teacher's example for the same example again. You can look at a teacher, and that teacher say to themselves, you know what? I want more. Like I'm a teacher. However, I would really like to get my doctorate, so that I can be a principal. Or, I also, okay, now I'm a principal. You know what? I feel like, I want to apply to be on the board of education, okay? Because I really want to see change in my community, and I really want to see change in the education, realm. And you do that, and you keep going, and, you keep on, pursuing these things that is purpose, like it's purpose. And, that is the same thing, sis. Like you're still grinding, you're still going out there, and you're turning your lemons into lemonade. You're turning your lemons into lemon water. You're still doing that, okay? You're just doing it in a different manner. So although you may not be an entrepreneur, if you got goals, sis, if you got goals, okay, your girl is proud of you. I'm proud of you. Keep being consistent. Keep going after those goals. Keep climbing that corporate ladder. Keep climbing, at that teacher ladder, that teacher role, okay? Keep doing it, sis. I applaud you, and I encourage you, and I lift you up, and I look forward to, hearing all about, your moments and how these steps really work for you, how you apply these steps to your life and apply them to your go-getter mentality, and break these stereotypes out here that tell us that we can't do it, because we can. Like we women, and we all that and a bag of chips, and so we can make all these moves that we want to. Okay, all right, I said enough, and I'm gonna move right on to the Go Girl segment. Okay, y'all already know this is my favorite segment, because I get to celebrate somebody out there doing their thing, and I'm actually doing a little happy dance. Yeah, I know y'all can't see it, but yeah, I'm really excited because this Go Girl, on the last episode, I actually did share somebody that I knew, somebody that was personal. Y'all know, like I do the Go Girl. It may be a celebrity sometimes. It may be somebody that I have never met, or just somebody in the media. And sometimes it may be people that I'm close to, people that I actually know. And so this Go Girl segment goes to my sis, Alex Russell. And she gets the Go Girl segment because, girl, you better go, girl. You get the Go Girl today, because at the end of the day, I am so proud of you and your hubby. Okay, but he not a girl. So I got to celebrate you in this moment, because they had a marriage, I don't want to say retreat, but it was a marriage game night at their house. And it was just phenomenal. Me and my hubby went, and it was so therapeutic. And I'm just so proud of her, because the way she poured into the wives, and she, really sat up there. And it's funny because she didn't really even say too much, but just her opening up her house and putting it together, and just, sitting up there with her husband, and, just representing godly marriages and bringing all the couples together just to share about Christian marriage, godly marriage, how to keep God first in our marriage. It was just phenomenal. And y'all know I'm big about community. And so I'm going to try to segue into the other segment as well, which is the Lift Your Voice segment, where we talk about community. However, I want to tie this in with the Go Girl with Alex, because sometimes you got to figure out what your community is, and then you find purpose behind your community. And I just really celebrate her, because, ever since I've known her, it's always been, her and her husband, they've been married going on a gazillion years, okay? No, I'm just playing. They've been married a really long time, and I think it's about 10, 11 years or something like that. And they've been married that long, and they're actually high school sweethearts. And, ever since I met them, even before I was married, I looked up to them and, their marriage, and, them being so young. I think at the time when I met her, I think she's 2 or 3 years younger than me. And this sad girl, I need to just sit down and talk to you, Alex, about your whole life, because I don't want to get nothing wrong, but she is younger than me. And her being younger than me, just to look up to her marriage and just see, they have 3 kids, 3 beautiful kids, and they're just going and prospering. They just bought a brand new house, not no house that, somebody else already lived in, but they bought a brand spanking new house. And, just opening the doors, they could be like, okay, we don't want nobody in here messing up our good stuff, whatever. But they're not those type of people. They just come on in, take a load off, eat some good food, and we just gonna have marriage conversation. And I say all that to say is she knows her community. She knows she's an inspiration to other married women. And, just knowing that she takes the steps to, go out there and make sure she's doing things that is, edifying to her community, which is, women that are married. And so I celebrate you, sis. I lift you up for what you're doing. Me and Mike, we had a great time. It was phenomenal. It was, empowering. I actually ended up embarrassingly crying, telling my husband how much I really cared about him, because we played this game where it was called If Your Husband Only Knew, or If Your Spouse Only Knew, and you had to tell your spouse one thing that they only knew. So it got a little bit emotional, because I had to let him know, if he only knew how much, I really, truly am inspired by him. And, so it just was a beautiful, beautiful thing, you guys. And I really, truly thank God for Alex. I thank God that she is walking in what God's called her to do. And go, girl. You better go, girl. Okay? Keep going. Keep doing it. Keep grinding it out. Don't ever stop. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you ain't on a mission and you can't do it all, because I know you got the 3 kids. I know you got a full-time job. But sis, you actually still, got this ministry, and you got this anointing to go out here and really reach these married women. So go girl, go get it, girl. All right. So segueing into my Lift Every Voice segment, it's so important to know your community. Okay. Know your community. Make the most of your community. And if you don't know your community, I'm not talking about where you live. Okay. I'm not talking about the people that is your neighbors or nothing like that. I'm talking about who is the community that, God has called you to, or who's the community that you feel a connection with. Like, what community do you feel a connection with that you can really inspire change, or you can really make a difference? Like we talked about the education community with, a woman that's a teacher, or we talked about the marriage community, like with my friend Alex. But, what is the community like? For me, I have so many communities, y'all, that I try to make a difference in. However, this Pod for Your Girl community is for, women of color. And, just, celebrating women of color and just making a platform and an avenue for women of color that, has never been, I'm not saying it has never been done, but it's not enough of it being done. So I want more to be done. I want us to have more platforms for women of color and to share diversity and to share, love for one another's culture and one another's, differences, nationalities, everything, all that good stuff. Like, that's my community, you guys. That's my community, and that's my thought behind this. However, if you don't know your community, ask yourself, like, what is my community? What can I make a difference in? How can I really use my voice to impact the people that I feel connected to? And, just moving on that. And I shared something the other day with somebody, and I was telling them, like, I used to be somebody who was so afraid. Like, I used to be very afraid of a lot of things. However, now I really and truly know that, whenever I'm afraid of something, it means that it's confirmation. And just like this podcast, like, I'm not a talker. I'm not somebody that, I feel nervous sometimes when I even get ready to hit the record button, or I feel nervous when I'm about to speak in front of people. I feel nervous when everybody's watching me. So, at the end of the day, I don't feel like, I have any supernatural talents that, is allowing me to, do this podcast. But it's just about diving all the way in, head first, and not, caring about, what people may think or what people may say, but just knowing that you have something to say and you have something to share, and the purpose behind it, which is, just building up women of color who may have gone through the same things that I've gone through. That is what's important to me. So, this is my lane. This is my avenue to do it in. And I just really, really hope and pray that, sis, you find your way. You find your avenue. You find your community. You find your way to lift your voice. And so I encourage you today in this segment to do that. Do this, that. Sit down, ask yourself, what is my community? What am I connected to? And let's make a positive impact on that. Okay? All right. So I want to hear about it. If you say to yourself, I know my community, please comment your community in the section below. Please comment your community on Instagram. Tag the people that are in your community so they could come on here and they can be empowered by this as well. Like, each one teach one. That's what I say. Each one teach one. So share this podcast with your friends, with your family. Okay? All right. And, guys, I cannot leave you guys without a thought of the day. I can't do it, and today the thought of the day comes from a Bible story in Matthew 25, and the verses are 1 through 13, and you could go read it on your own. However, this thought of the day comes from the parable about the 10 virgins. And, if you know the story, that, there were 5 virgins that were wise and 5 virgins that were foolish. And the 5 virgins that were foolish, they forgot to take their oil with them when it came time for them to go and meet the bridegroom. However, the 5 that were wise, they made sure that they had their oil, okay? They made sure that they had all their ingredients, in other words, for the lemonade, okay? They made sure that they had everything that they was going to need for their lemon water. And, the 5 that were foolish, they, didn't have what they needed. They took no oil with them. And, when the bridegroom had actually, delayed in coming. So he called them first and then he delayed in coming. And so the 10 virgins, they ended up falling asleep. All 10 of them, not just the foolish ones, but the 5 wise ones, they fell asleep too. And then, at midnight, there was a cry that the bridegroom is coming, the bridegroom is coming. And so all of them went out to meet him. And so this is the kicker right here, you guys. All the virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. The foolish said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out." But the wise answered and saying, "What if there isn't enough for us and you?" So what if there ain't enough lemonade or lemons for me and you to make your lemonade? Okay. You go rather to those who sell and buy for yourselves. And so while they were away to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went with him to the marriage feast, and the door was shut. Okay. Afterwards, the other virgins came, saying, "Lord, Lord, open to us." But he answered, "Most certainly, I tell you, I don't know you. Watch therefore, for you don't know the day or the hour which the Son of Man is coming." And of course, this is talking about the kingdom of heaven and, Judgment Day, making sure that we are prepared for Judgment Day. However, I also want to use this scripture to just, refer back to us being go-getters, refer back to us being hardworking women, refer back to us being prepared for any situation or anything by, using the 3 steps that I gave you when it came to, just making sure that you are humble, or making sure that, you're apologizing for whatever you feel that you missed, or making sure that, you know what season that you're in. You're taking these steps and that you're being prepared, and that you got all of your lemons, you got enough water, you got your sugar, you got, some of y'all may use honey for your lemonade. Whatever it is that you do, make sure that you have all your ingredients, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that, you're not sleeping on yourself. Don't sleep on who you are. Don't sleep, and don't ever be ashamed of being a hard worker and making sure that if God put it on your heart to start a business or to, go out and get that doctorate degree, and you're thinking to yourself, man, like, I don't want to look like I'm a bad mom because, I have to go to class at night, and I know that, my son, he gonna have to be dropped off at his grandmother's house 9 times out of 10 throughout the week. Like, no, sis, do what you got to do, because if God has put that on your heart to do it, he is going to give you the grace to do it. He's going to give you the grace to be out here grinding and be out here making moves and be out here, being a flight attendant and having a podcast and having a clothing line and, doing whatever it is that you want to do, because at the end of the day, we aren't going to be on this earth forever, as hard as it is, as harsh as that may sound. So, we have to do, there's another scripture that talks about, how we have to work while it's day, because when night comes, no man can work. And it's the same thing. While you out here, hesitant about whether or not, you want to start this business, or you want to get this doctorate, or you want to, pursue anything else, while you're out here hesitant about it, you may just miss it like that. Just how those 5 virgins, they said, oh, okay, well, now we need the oil, so let's go get it. But at that point, it was too late. So, whatever it is that's on your heart, sis, go out here, get it. Don't be ashamed of getting it, because, when you set back and you be ashamed and you feel bad about doing it, you may really miss your opportunity or miss your chance to really, really, really impact those people around you. Just like my sis Alex, like she out here, she encouraging us married women, and she doing what she got to do. And so do that same thing. Be empowered to go out here and do what you need to do. Don't be like the foolish versions, okay? Don't be like them. Okay, make sure you got all your lemons and you got all your ingredients for what you need to do. All right, that's all I'm saying. Get your ingredients, sis. Get your ingredients, sis. Go to the grocery store. If it's Whole Foods, if it's Publix, if it's Kroger's, go do what you got to do. And in a practical sense, what I'm basically saying is get what you need to get done, in order to have your to go get your doctorate, or to, go after your dreams, start to prepare and have all your ducks in a row, and use those steps that I taught you today, and do what you got to do to succeed, girl. Do it. The time is now. What you waiting on? Nothing. So go ahead and do it. And I love you guys. And I really appreciate you guys for listening to Pop for Your Girl, the 5th episode. It is, there's just no words. Like, we on episode 5. Oh yeah. I got to tell y'all this. I really got to say this, because last week there was no episode, and the reason for that is because I am working on some stuff for the podcast. I really am. Just like we were talking about, sometimes, yes, I wanted to post the episode last week, but sometimes you got to humble yourself, because not just because I didn't post didn't mean I wasn't working on stuff for the podcast, working on stuff for Pop for Your Girl. And as much as I wanted everything to fit into the 24 hours that I have been given, it just wasn't fitting. And so I was like, okay, but I'm going to let them know that I'm still on this consistent grind, and I do record my podcast week to week, because as you can see, I talk about things that's current. I talk about things that, I actually experience. And so I never want to take away from that by just, putting together, 10 episodes and just, posting them out there. No, I want to share with you guys real life experiences that's going on in my life, so that, in hopes that those experiences really do encourage you guys. So that's what makes Pop for Your Girl different. Okay. So if anybody asks y'all, that's what makes us different. That's why you should listen. That's why everybody else should listen, because, we out here recording stuff week to week. Okay. All right, guys. So I really appreciate y'all. Please follow us on Instagram, which is pod4_your girl. And I think that's right. And if it's wrong, please go on there and correct me if I'm wrong. Pod for Your Girl on Instagram. Follow us on SoundCloud. Subscribe to us on SoundCloud. Go on YouTube, because now we got a YouTube page, and I ain't gonna drop no hints, but of course, YouTube, we got some stuff coming on there real soon. So make sure that your friends, your family, they following Pop for Your Girl on YouTube as well. Okay, so we out.